As of May 31st, Disney has paused the sale of all 4 types of Magic Keys for the Disneyland Resort. It's clear the current Magic Key annual pass system isn't what both Disney and park guests were hoping for, especially now that the lawsuit filed against the Magic Key system is set to move forward. So what's going to happen to Magic Keys? Will there be a new system when or if they return? Let's discuss these questions and propose multiple solutions to the Magic Key system. Hello everyone, welcome back to Disney 24/7. I'm Jacob, and here, it's Disney all the time. Before we speculate on the future of the Magic Key program, let's first take a look back at how we got here to begin with. Back at the start of 2020, we had the Disneyland Annual Pass Holder System, which were commonly referred to as APs. The passes offered in this system were the SoCal Select, Deluxe, Signature, Signature Plus, Premier, and Disney Flex Pass. Remember that last one, it's important when we get into Magic Keys later. Back in 2020, the big news about APs was the annual price hikes from Disney. Every pass in the program had just received a big price increase, and per usual, Disneyland pass holders expressed their resentment on social media. It's funny looking back because we really had no idea how drastically everything was about to change. Then, in March, the pandemic hit and Disneyland officially closed its gates on March 14th. During the closure, Disney paused AP monthly payments, and APs were assured that they would be able to keep their pass for when the parks finally reopened.
Several months later,
in January of 2021, Disney officially announced it would be getting rid of the annual pass holder system. They also announced that all current APs would become known as legacy pass holders and would still have access to discounts and special perks at Downtown Disney and the parks until a new system was announced. Of course, this sparked an uproar amongst Disneyland APs, but at least now Disney was allowing for refunds. Flash forward to April of 2021, and Disneyland finally reopened after over a year of being closed, but there was still no word from Disney on a new annual pass system. This meant that families who once were able to go with annual passes now had to buy a ticket every time they wanted to go to Disneyland, with there being no other option to go to the parks. That was until August 2021. The Magic Key system was announced with 4 different keys available for purchase, including the Imagine, Enchant, Believe, and Dream key. Just like before, the more expensive the key, the less blockout dates there were, with one major exception. Ever since the parks had reopened, guests were required to make a reservation for the day they wanted to visit, along with the purchase of a ticket. This was to keep crowd levels at a low capacity to comply with pandemic protocols, but also so Disney could know what to expect for a given day and bring in extra staff if necessary. This was super nice for Disney as it gave them so much insight for what to expect. The major issue was when this same format was being applied to annual passes, as it took away Magic Key holders' ability to spontaneously visit the parks. This was especially tragic for Dream Key holders who had no blockout dates, but now had to fight for reservations like everyone else, meaning they too were barred from coming to the parks whenever they felt like it. This is why there's lawsuit against the Magic Keys right now to begin with. However, this wasn't even the first time that this system had been in place for annual passes. The Flex Pass from earlier used this system, but the difference between Flex Pass and Magic Keys is back then there was a choice to use the reservation system versus now there's not. So with unhappy Magic Key holders, who are a majority of the consistent guests at Disneyland, there needs to be some sort of compromise from Disney. It seems we may be getting that here in the new future because no Magic Keys are currently for sale. So what are the solutions? Well, before I dive into some potential solutions, if you are finding this video interesting, could you please leave it a like down below. This helps YouTube share it with a wider audience and could potentially sway Disney on whatever annual pass they are planning on releasing soon. Well, the first and most obvious solution is to simply get rid of the reservation system altogether. The problem with this is Disney has absolutely fallen in love with the reservation system over the past year, and at this point, it would be very hard to split their budding romance. Okay, so if Disney can't part with the reservation system, then what if you only had to reserve the most popular days? For example, weekends, holidays, anniversaries, ride, and land openings. At first glance, this sounds like a great solution. However, the big problem I see with this solution is if people think reservations are competitive to get now, this would essentially make it like a lottery to get those coveted dates. I'm talking about waiting online for hours to get a certain reservation. People forget what it was like waiting in a virtual queue for hours on end for Touch of Disney and the opening of Disneyland, and this would just have to become normal. Personally, I don't have a lot of days where I can drop everything and wait and stare at a computer for hours on end, so while at first glance this sounds like a fine compromise, it would require way more effort to get a reservation, which are already pretty hard to obtain. So if we can't completely or partially get rid of the reservation system, how can Magic Key holders get the spontaneity of the old annual pass program while Disney gets to keep their reservation system? I think the answer is rather simple. There should be a certain number of days that Magic Key holders can use where they don't have to make a reservation and can go to the park whenever they want. Let's say Dream Keys get 5 of these days, 4 for Believe, and then 3 for Enchant and Imagine. As an example, let's say you get off work and suddenly have the itch to go to Disneyland. The way the current system works, you wouldn't be able to, but with this credit system, you could use just one of your days or credits and head into the park no problem. This way, Disney can keep their reservation system, but still give Magic Key holders some leeway and freedom for when they want to visit the parks. Now, you might be thinking, wouldn't everyone just use their days on popular days like Christmas or New Year's? Yes, it's more likely these days would be used on holidays and weekends, so to combat this, maybe weekends would be worth 1.5 credits, and then popular holidays like Christmas could be worth 3, with more mild holidays like Labor Day being worth 2. This would incentivize Magic Key holders to use their spontaneous days on weekdays, which is something that Disney totally wants. Regardless if Disney chooses this exact system, it's clear that Disney needs to allow pass holders more freedom with their Magic Keys. I just think this solution benefits everyone, while also keeping the pricing relatively similar to what it's at right now. Anyways, what do you guys think? Leave a comment down below if you would get this pass, and let me know if there's anything you would change. Also again, make sure you like and subscribe as it really does help this channel out. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all again real soon.